best way you can see more interesting people is by being more interested. Well, then people are going to be more interested in talking to you. You're just going to be a more attractive person to be around. And how do you do that? First of all, by practicing active listening. This means keeping eye contact, sometimes nodding or pretty much just acknowledging that you actually witnessed what the person said to you. You can even take a couple seconds just looking at them once they're finished talking to make sure they're actually done talking, until you start talking. If you become very comfortable with silences, people are going to be more comfortable around you, you're going to seem much more confident and interesting to be around. If you create the habit of not checking your phone as soon as it vibrates in your everyday life, you're going to become a much more present person. And this also translates into social situations. So if you use your phone less in those situations, obviously it's going to be perceived positively.
Another huge factor that plays into being an interesting person is being open-minded. No one, and I mean no one, likes talking to a wall. Imagine you're talking to a person and all they say is, "Nope, that's not true. I believe this. Wrong." It's not funny. It's not great talking to that person, right? So you got to be open-minded. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't have your own views, but we'll get back to that later. To be a more open-minded person, you can use something that Chris Voss calls tactical empathy. This isn't necessarily meant as a practice to be more open-minded, but I found that it actually helped me understand people's perspectives a lot better, automatically making me more open-minded, right? So when you talk to a person, ask yourself these 4 questions. What are their objectives? What is their objective in this conversation? Are they trying to convey a message? What message is it? Ask yourself about their emotions. What are they feeling right now? What were they feeling in that story that they're telling you? Now, what are their motivations? What are they trying to get? What are they trying to get out of this conversation or out of their life in general? And finally, what are their fears? What are they absolutely trying to avoid? It goes pretty deep, because once you know their perspective, you're kind of stepping out of your own head, being more open-minded, right? Something else you can do to be more open-minded is to just simply experience more things. You want to be around different people, different environments, different books, and so on. Try some things that are not necessarily in your nature, but you still try them because, hey, you're open-minded, right? You want to know a tiny bit about everything. And imagine how good that looks in conversations as well, right? If you know a tiny bit about everything, you're still open-minded to learn from the other person, but you're not completely oblivious to what they're saying. Suddenly you've become the person that you can talk to about anything.
Now, when we say you should be open-minded, this doesn't mean you shouldn't have a backbone. It's very important to still have your own beliefs and to stand your ground whenever those are challenged. You see, a person who's just a pushover is not a very fun person to be around, and especially if you're a yes man. Even if 2 different friends have opposing views, but you agree with each of them, you're just showing that you're a yes man and you don't have anything to add yourself. You have no backbone, and you seem like a very unreliable person, because a person who's liked by everyone is essentially liked by no one, because they're no one's true friend if they play all sides. So make sure you have a backbone, you seem assertive, and you're very secure in your own opinions, because that's going to make people much more interested in you.
And finally, you should become a good storyteller. See, there's one thing that has connected humanity throughout the years, and it's been music and storytelling. You probably know some person that's a very good storyteller. Maybe it's your grandpa or some old person, because they tend to have good stories, right? Knowing how to actually tell the story for other people to listen is a huge game changer, because you're not only going to have these stories that you can tell people, you actually know how to convey the message and do it in such a way that people want to listen. Some quick tips that you can use to be a better storyteller is getting a framework for storytelling. You want to have a hook in the beginning, something interesting to start with. The beginning is also where you introduce the characters and what environment you're in. This is called an establishment shot in videos. When you watch a film, you always see the location first, right? A school. And then it goes inside the school and the people talking there. People want to know where they are and what the characters are right off the bat. Then you get to the main part. Just use as many descriptive words here as possible. Slowly build up to the peak of the story. Really try to collect and raise the emotions of the crowd that's listening. And then once you get to the peak, give it a little bang, a little bit of spice, you know? Don't just simply rush over it. Make it last. You can use a little break after your punchline if the story has a punchline to really let it settle in. Remember to talk slowly and impactful. We're going to make a full video about this framework very soon, so be sure to check back. But for now, these are your basics, so stick to them. They're really going to help you.
If you enjoyed this banging episode of Pablo's Pill, you might like this one as well. We'll see you there.